Welcome to the new IT, where we talk about IT stuff, hiring, how to get a job, how to hire people that are IT, all that good stuff. I'm Bobby Glen James, one of the hosts here. I'm the owner of BoTecha IT Services, home of the Value IT, and
I'm Brad Anderson. I'm the CEO and founder of TechBridge. We're an IT staffing and recruiting agency that specializes in bridging the gap between employee and business.
And today we're talking about the time of the rude IT guy is over. It's just over. If you're that rude IT guy, good luck finding a job, right, Brad?
Oh, absolutely.
It's just not going to happen. We're going to dive right into this. Today, we're just going to talk about soft skills. What the heck are soft skills? Why do you need them? Do you need them? And the resounding answer is, guys, yes, you need soft skills. And that's not bullcrap when the job offer is saying, or not offer, but the job description is saying you need soft skills. They're not kidding. They need you to have some soft skills. So Brad, what is a soft skills mean? What does that mean? What are they looking for?
Soft skills is just being able to be relatable. More than anything else, it's all about collaboration and teamwork. So being able to really focus in on that and prove your worth and show your value from a not only a code or whatever standpoint, but just being able to be there and be interactive with the team.
Team player, being able
Absolutely.
to communicate. Because in the past, IT has been this, put that guy over in that closet and shut the lights off and let them do their work.
Exactly. Just leave me alone. Don't bother him. Let him do his thing. And that's what he does.
And why is that going away, do you think?
We've evolved as a society. I think now more than ever, we're actually, doing things to make sure that people are included and things are more inclusive. So yes, it's a good thing. But those days for those people that are introverted in that regard are kind of numbered.
And do you think that the technology has kind of made that not as important? I mean, we've got so much technology now with cloud services and all this stuff. It's so much broader. The time of just not working with other people and doing that little coding thing, I mean, now you actually have to integrate with everybody, don't you?
Absolutely, you do. I mean,
more than ever.
Absolutely. Because we're remote now, I think it's more important that you do have those soft skills. You can't just say, here's my work, and then just email it over. No, those days are gone.
Yeah.
You literally have to, possibly walk people through, what exactly it is you've done, and you've got to articulate it in a way that people can understand.
Yeah, I guess it's important.
So, let me ask you this though: why do you think soft skills matter?
Why do I think soft skills matter? Coming from an IT perspective, maybe as a boss or as an employee, I'll tell you. I remember the olden days of being at a help desk, and when I would go to the accounting group to help them on a computer or something, they would be going, "Oh my gosh, Bobby, it's you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. It's you. Oh, I'm glad it wasn't so-and-so or so-and-so. Those guys are so rude."
Right.
and when layoffs happened and stuff, I didn't get laid off. I somehow kept going, and I think I owe a lot of that to the ability to actually be friendly and connected and kind to the people I work with. Nobody loves having that rude jerk there to work with, and it's hard. In IT, that's kind of been the thought standard, and I think it was just because these introverted folks really loved digging into the technology, but they didn't like the connection with people.
Right.
All time and time again, I would hear, "Oh man, I hate doing support. I hate dealing with the client," or not the client, to the user.
Right.
They would never call him by name. They would just call him the user. The users suck.
I'm a non-technical guy, so for me, I remember dreading the day that I would have to call the IT guy down just to be able to say, "Hey, you know what? I got a pretty good understanding, but something's not working right. Can you help me?"
And he treats you like a 3-year-old.
Exactly. And it was always like, really? Come
on, dude. I always thought it was, I'm coming from the IT world, and I always thought it was weird that us as IT, that person never, ever has ever done what you're trying to show them to do,
right.
And you think you're calling them stupid or whatever because they've never done it, but they've never seen it before. Anything you've never seen before, you wouldn't understand.
Exactly.
They had no empathy
Exactly. And not only that, it was always like, well, I just fix it and go, and then they're gone.
And they're done,
like,
and they're gone.
Not even a thank you, or just they're gone, and it's like, really?
Dude, I would sit back, I would talk and shoot the bull and have fun.
Right.
And you know, I'm an IT guy and I'm a geek, but I'm definitely a lot more extroverted than most. And I think the days of being that jerk is over.
Oh, I mean, completely agree.
You will not keep a job if you are not a team player. You just will not.
Well, not only that, I mean, social media has made it even more powerful of a tool to be able to say, if somebody can call you out, and not only can they call you out, they can call your company out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, chances are, even if you are going to be that way, you're not going to have a job for long.
Yeah. So what are you looking for when you look for a candidate? What are you looking for in soft skills? What does that look like for you specifically?
We
Brad?
have six things that we look for when we're looking for
soft skills specifically.
So they're communication, teamwork, problem solving, leadership, adaptability, and dependability. So through our interview process, we go through and we can gauge those, and we ask questions that hit upon these topics.
Is any of that, when I say interpersonal skill, what does that go along? Is interpersonal skills connected to all of those? To me, it seems like it is.
It is. I mean,
you can't be a team player. You can't be a leader unless you have interpersonal skills. I mean, that's kind of the bond that connects all of those six together, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's all interpersonal,
So how do you look for that? How do you see that? And can you see that from a resume? I mean,
no. I mean, you have to talk. You have to interview. You have to screen. You have to get to know people. So generally, the way we do it, we can look through. We can see, hey, look, this guy's fantastic. This person, they have all the criteria that we're looking for. Let's get to know him a little bit. Let's spend some time on a 30-minute call. Let's do a video call. Let's get to know him. Let's see what his personality's like. Let's ask him questions, and then we can gauge from that whether or not he has those soft skills. If they are, fantastic. If not, well, I'm not saying that you can't have a job, but you're really limiting your possibilities to be able to do that just because they are so important.
Yeah. Yes. So true.
So, having said that, let me ask you this. What happens when a person thinks they have soft skills, but they don't?
Oh, man. That's probably the worst situation. It's
Really?
when they think they actually are work really well with people, but they don't. I have seen that so many times where they're very secure and confident with themselves, and they come off as this arrogant a-hole. They're not necessarily rude or stuff. They just are smarter than everybody else. And of course, smarter than everybody else means also they're really good with people. But unfortunately,
not the case.
That is not the case. And the really hard part about those folks is you can't tell them, and they usually aren't very good learners. They won't learn that, hey, I need to be a team player. I can't have the ego that I'm the smartest one in the room. And I'll tell you, in my history of that, those guys were the first to be let go.
Oh, absolutely.
At companies when
Why do you think that is, though?
Because nobody wanted to work with them.
Right.
And when I'm a managing boss and I have to let go of 15% of my division, who do I let go of first? The person that's the hardest to deal with.
Exactly.
Period.
That's
Every time. And so, unfortunately, again, like I said, when somebody's open to learning and they're open to saying, you know what, maybe I could get better at soft skills, then, man, I'll those are the perfect IT person, because a lot of them understand, I am kind of introverted, and maybe I need some assistance in playing with the team, or not playing with the team. That doesn't sound right, but
being a good team player,
being a good team player, and being connected, and to be a leader, I have to kind of get out of my shell a little bit. Those guys, they can be taught. People say you can't teach soft skills. That's not true. You absolutely can. The reason people say you can't teach soft skills is because most people aren't open to being taught it.
100% agree.
But if you find somebody that is open,
absolutely.
then you can teach, and they can be better, and they can be just as introverted, but they can learn how to really connect with people. Unfortunately, the folks that think they're already smarter than everybody else, I do my best to unfortunately get rid of that person as quickly as possible.
And to be quite honest, I mean, this sounds maybe a little bit morbid, but people are set in their ways. So sometimes that can just be, they are more of a lost cause just because they're unwilling to adapt.
Guys, it's it's the world. And unfortunately, if you are that person, you're going to have even harder a time than you ever have in the past, because the day of the rude IT guy is gone. Nobody's going to put up with it, not for very long.
Well, and IT has evolved so much that, like we talked about, I mean, it's about being a team player. It's about pulling your weight and doing what you need to do to be able to say, I've contributed.
Yeah.
I mean, those days of feeling like you're better than everybody else in the IT world, those are gone.
Yeah, they're gone. It's just not there. With all that said, can you tell me a time where maybe soft skills backfired on you specifically? Can you tell me a time when you had the perfect soft skill person and it didn't? Because we got to look at the other side.
Absolutely.
We got to look at the other side. So, Brad,
absolutely. So we were looking to fill an internal position, and this candidate, checked all the boxes. He did have great soft skills. He was a team player. He communicated really well, showed leadership qualities, wanted to take on more, wanted to do more. But unfortunately, it took a couple months to figure out. But what he was saying and what he was doing were two different things. So, yeah, I mean,
so he had the skills to kind of pretend like a team player when he had his own agenda.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's not much you can do. I mean, obviously, we tried to help him work through that. We tried to, point out some things to where he can say, hey, you know what, maybe you need to think about how you're treating people or how you're interacting with people, just to say, you know what, that's maybe not the best approach I should be taking.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, in the long run, it was kind of a facade. They looked like they had the soft skills, but in reality, and unfortunately, that's probably the worst, or not the worst, but that's the hardest thing to do as a hiring person, right?
Oh, absolutely.
To see through if somebody looks really good, sounds really good, they talk a real good talk, and really, unfortunately, is there any way to sift through that? Or you just
absolutely.
have to, there is?
Yeah, I mean,
there is, because I thought you just have to crapshoot, and you just kind of, I hope this person is as good as they seem like.
Well, if it is like that, then I want to go to Vegas and do some craps tables. So absolutely,
because you got it. Well, yeah, right. Let me know. How do you do that?
So yeah, I mean, what we do from our standpoint as a staffing and recruiting agency, we do a 2-vet process system, and we do 2 interviews even before we submit them to the client. So we want to make sure that we
phone interview or like talking interviews.
Correct.
Yeah,
so they're video interviews. So we want to make sure from our standpoint we are putting the best candidates forward for our clients. So what we do is we vet them first, and then we set up a time to talk with them. When we set up a time to talk with them, it is a video interview, so we get to understand. Video gives you a sense of something that a phone can't. So it gives you a kind of, it's a little bit more intimate, so you can kind of see things more. So we set up a phone interview. If they look good and everything's passing from that standpoint, we'll do another video interview with another team member. And if they pass that, then we consider.
So you do 2 different interviews with 2 different people.
Correct. So it's
so
not the
you
same
get a
person.
different angle from the different. Oh, that's interesting.
Right. And we've actually had a lot of success with that. So we actually boast a 95% candidate acceptance rate. So proof is in the numbers. We are doing something right.
That's cool. That's awesome. Right? Awesome.
So yeah, why are IT people considered introverted?
That's a great question. I used to tell this to folks. I said there's three kinds of IT guys. There's and I call them geeks because they're geeks.
At the end of the day, they are.
Yeah, there's a super geek, an interpersonal geek, and an idiot geek.
You're gonna have to break those down for me. I gotta know these ones.
Yeah, so the super geek, he is the guy or girl, whoever, that goes in the corner and just does their work, doesn't want to be bugged, that normal human beings really have a hard time talking to just because they're so smart. Not because they're conceited, not because they're a-holes, but just they're so smart that they just don't have the ability to connect with people. And those are usually, they're open to, it's just not their thing. And they're super geeks. They're just so smart that they're amazing.
Sounds almost like robots.
Yeah, well, some folks are born that way. Some folks are born with that kind of mindset. I tell, if you'll know right away if you have a developer's mindset, because most times you talk about coding or something, people go, ooh. But if you go, wow, this is exciting, then you might be a developer.
Fair enough.
And you think differently than the whole human race. I love them.
To kind of go in that pathway, I mean, so would you consider a developer to have like critical thinking skills, or is that something that a developer should have?
I think so. Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, they just, that's how they think. They think that problem solving is their whole world, and they love it, and they're passionate about it. And that's that super geeky. That's what I consider a super geek. Now, the interpersonal geek is interesting. Maybe I should talk about the idiot geek first, because they're the most annoying. Unfortunately, the idiot geek is that person that thinks they're a super geek, but they're not. They think they're the smartest thing in the world, but they're really just an a-hole.
Oh, okay.
That's the idiot geek. They think they're smart, but they actually aren't. And they're the ones that have to put down people and tell everybody how stupid they are and how much smarter they are. They're that classic rude IT guy that talk about they're an idiot geek. They're just an idiot. They're an idiot that pretends to be smart.
You say that, and I just have this imagination, and maybe this dates me a little bit, but I just have this imagination of just like this rude guy just coming up to me like in the 90s, and we used to have cubicles back then, and just saying, what's your problem? Let's do this. Let's get it over with. And then it's like, really? Come on. Where's
Talk
the
to me like a
compassion?
3-year-old.
Help me understand what I did wrong, so I don't have to have you come back.
Yeah, they're not interested. They're this kind of conceited individual, and they're unfortunately ones you really don't want in your company, and they're the ones you want to sift out, and they're the ones that are becoming few and far between because they can't get a job. Then there's the interpersonal geek. And the interpersonal geek is the person that actually connects with people. They love doing technology. They like being in technology. I consider myself an interpersonal geek. Now, the super geeks are really powerful employees to have. They just have a little bit of a problem connecting. Now, if you hire a super geek with an interpersonal geek, oh my gosh, then the interpersonal geek can be the liaison between. That's been my experience, because I was liaison with some of our super geeks at some of the companies that I've worked for in the past, and we just made a great team because I loved them. They loved it that I understood them a little bit, but I could also talk to the layman.
I gotcha. And honestly, I totally see that out of you, Bobby. You fit that T perfectly.
Right on. So what's some advice that you can give folks out there listening, either client side or candidate side? What's some advice you can give about these soft skills and hiring and the soft skills?
Yeah, I mean, soft skills are important. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and you have to do it. So the best advice I could probably tell you is look internally and start to understand and really know yourself. If you know that you're introverted, then you need to start to take steps to look into ways of what you can
be open to that.
To be open and to start broadening your horizons and look at different things. Maybe you just decide to take a different class or get out of your comfort zone or something that you can do to say, you know what, I got out of my comfort zone, and interacting with people really isn't that bad, and I actually kind of enjoy it.
And even if it is hard, you will be more employable.
Oh,
you'll
absolutely.
get a better job. You'll do better, and you'll do better in society. The more you cut yourself away, and we've seen it. I've been listening to this podcast about the Unabomber, and it's interesting how he just got more and more and more. If you just get out and force yourself. I know we don't want to
Right.
sometimes when we're introverts, but you force yourself to. You'll be better and probably have not only a better job but a better life. I mean,
Right.
people connect with people for a reason, and if you can at least acknowledge that and hold it. So with that said, how do they know if they don't have skills?
So, I mean, you've really got to do a deep dive and a look inside and say, you know what do I currently do? I mean, am I active? Am I outdoors? Am I being part of communities? Am I engaged, or am I just sitting behind my screen all day, not engaging with anybody? So you really got to look at yourself and say, am I very introverted, or do I have other hobbies, or do you have anything that helps you get out and experience more of the world?
And if you really care about having a better job,
And that's what I was
you're
going
gonna
to say.
have to expand.
Well, it's not even a job. It's growing your career. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, we're a society where people do business with people they know, and not only do business, but they want to take care of the people that they know and that they trust and that they care about.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? You have to build the relationships. You have to have a personal connection with these people.
Yeah.
You can't do that from sitting behind a screen.
You can't. Yeah, guys, this is true advice, and you're gonna just have a really hard time. You need to get out and get some connection with people. Learn
Right.
how to be a leader. Learn that even if you just don't have the leadership qualities, but learn how to stand up and say what you want or need, or in a good way, not in an a-hole
Well,
way.
exactly. I mean, you can't sit there and demand certain things.
Right,
No.
and learn how to be a team player. Learn how to, involve other people. Just hey, I want your advice on this. You may know it's right and it's perfect, but maybe get somebody just to have that connection.
Exactly.
It's a little bit goes a long way, correct? When it comes
absolutely.
to
I
hiring.
mean-
If you see somebody trying, then you see, wow, that this person probably can work with people.
Right. And this may be a little bit cliche, but I'm going back to kindergarten where, you get an A for effort. You really do. If you're trying and you're making the effort, people are going to notice that and people are going to see that. Maybe it may not help in the beginning, but over time, if you're going to develop yourself and develop those skills, absolutely, that's going to help you grow your career. And let's be honest, not only do people get into the IT field for specifically critical thinking and database, but they also do it for being able to have a great career. We're very fortunate in this industry to be able to make a great living. However, if you want to grow your career, you have to have personal skills.
You do.
You really do.
You just have to. I mean, the end result here and what we're talking about, can you get a job without soft skills?
You can, but you're probably not going to go very far with it. You're going to be very limited. You're going to feel stuck. You're not going to feel value out of your job. So yes, you can, but you're going to hate your job, and you're going to hate your work, and you're going to grow to hate the company you work for. So is it really worth it? No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And as a client, potential client hiring somebody, are you going to hire that person?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, writing's on the
If
wall.
you knew
you can
yeah.
start to see. So
Yeah.
if you can see it and you can go through that process, you can see and say, you know what, this candidate probably isn't the best fit for what we're trying to do in our culture and what we want.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is cool. This is.
I do have one
yeah.
more final question
Yes.
for you.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I'm going to pose a hypothetical for you
Oh,
here.
nice.
Right.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
So you have two candidates that you're looking to hire for this one position. One's introverted, the other's not. Who do you hire and why?
Well, I think we've kind of said that whole thing. Now, I'm gonna put it back a little bit and for some clarification. One is has no soft skills. One has soft skills. One has a better resume that has no soft skills. Actually, is a better candidate, and one has a not as good of a resume but has better soft skills. Can I have that question?
Sure.
You cool with that?
Absolutely.
Because
That's an even better question.
I'm gonna hire the guy with the soft skills. I am, even though the other person has a better resume. If I in an interview, if there's two people and I'm interviewing, and I got one that's resume is stellar and one that's resume is pretty good, and that's why he's there getting interviewed, but it's not as good as the other guy. But the other guy doesn't show soft skills to me, I won't hire them. I just it is that for a successful company, culture is everything. And if you've worked to create a culture in that company and a person doesn't fit, and in my companies, those soft skills, those 6 things that you talked about is everything in our culture. It's the respect that we give each other. It's just how it's run, and you can't keep that kind of culture with those. And those, let's face it, that person would not stay there.
Agreed.
Because they can't.
I mean, in that same vein, like coming from the IT staffing and recruiting world, when we're interviewing candidates, I'm not saying that we don't look for those people and we won't hire those people, because we will. But we kind of know that they're kind of on a short leash. Mm-hmm. So we know that going into it, but we try to help and coach them to be able to get them to where we think they can.
And if they're coachable, then they stay on the list for sure.
Exactly.
That's key. Yep. I don't mind that if somebody just shows me that they're doing their best and they're humble about it and willing to be able to, but when they're conceited and I'm the smartest one in the room, you should hire me because I'm the greatest thing on the planet.
Yeah, your days are numbered.
Yeah, that's a push away for me. That's
I agree.
Yeah, well, cool. This is good. This is, I think we're getting the hang of this, man.
We are. I think we are. We're getting there. We're gelling.
We got this. Cool. Well, this was a good episode. Thanks for listening. The new IT. We will see you next time.